are we doing? What are we doing?
Oh, and the Oscar for the fakest hat throw goes to. Oh, I'm sorry. That was too canned. This play, though, everybody talking about it. It's crazy to me, and this is what I end up writing about it. 20 years ago, Marv Levy told me once, stop watching the ball and you'll learn something. And I was like, okay, that's pretty smart advice. So when Jacoby Myers lets go of that ball, and I see Chandler Jones, I'm like, why is Chandler there? Like, it's 15 yards behind the play. There's a sea of grass. Like, why the hell is this guy standing there? So I go back and I watch the beginning of the play. And if you run that play back at the very beginning, when Ramondre Stevenson crosses the goal line, Chandler Jones dives to tackle him, hits him, falls off, misses the tackle completely. And then a 350-pound fat guard sits on top of him. At the 47.
As soon as he crosses the line of scrimmage,
As soon as he crosses the line of scrimmage, if you watch it, and it happens at the 47. Where did Chandler Jones intercept the ball? At the 48.
Right
he didn't even move.
Yeah.
He didn't even move. He's just like,
sometimes he just finds you. Sometimes he just finds you.
It's crazy. He literally missed the tackle.
There it is.
It cost the Patriots the game. He makes that tackle, it goes to overtime. But instead he misses it, and everything goes off the rails. The craziest thing ever.
You know what?
It's just like,
you know what? I'll tell you what cost the Patriots the game. Former Patriot Ted Johnson said this last night. This game was originally part of Sunday Night Football. It was supposed to be Sunday Night Football. It was flexed out for obvious reasons. But NBC has something called NBC It. So NBC actually has lots of cameras on the pylon. So before we get to that play, we have Keelan Cole catching a touchdown pass out of bounds. The dude was out of bounds. You're out of bounds.
Okay, wait. One thing though, there is a still framed photo that I saw earlier today, facing them. Like it was far better than the camera shots. Which, by the way, how the hell do you not have enough cameras now to get literally every inch? This is rare that this happens. Normally,
Charles, did you say there's a still photo?
Still framed photo.
What year is it? What year is it?
No, but I'm just telling you, at least it gives you the angle that you're not. It gives you the angle that you're not getting anywhere else. Wait, what are you, Michael? What are you doing? You're turning down information. You're turning down information.
No, you're turning down information if you don't have if you don't have technology. I respect photos.
Technology.
I respect but you got more advanced stuff though. You can do better than that.
Ultimately, even if it's recorded by a camera, the still photo is just going to tell you whether or not he was in bounds. You're going to arrive at a photo.
Now you're right.
Versus still. So
you're right in that. It's not that wasn't available then. You got to have a camera shot that's available then to make the decision. That's where I'm with you there 100%. I'm just talking about the argument about whether or not he was in or not. This still framed photo, when you look at it and you follow the white boundary line, it looks like he may have been in. It's a very arguable point, but I'm telling you, if one of your producers can track down this still framed photo, it is remarkable. When you really look close at that boundary line, it looks like the boundary line is not affected.
So it sounds like
but
it sounds like it's one of those. If there was an angle that there wasn't enough. It wasn't beyond a reasonable doubt. Like they called it a touchdown. They couldn't overturn it because it was close enough to wonder whether he was actually in. I mean,
and you know what, Mike? I don't like we were talking about earlier before Charles came on. I don't like. We can't do this if we already did that. No.
He really looked
out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's out. He's out. And so here it is.
I'm just telling you.
You know what bothers me?
I like that rule, Mike. I like that rule. If you call something on the field, you go to replay. It has to be indisputable to overturn the call on the field. Actually, that's the one part about this process that I do agree with.
Well, you know, Walt Anderson said this, fellas, in the poll report. I'll give this to you. Now you guys can bat it around as you see fit. Walt Anderson said, and if that call had been incomplete in the moment,
Right.
we wouldn't have been able to overturn that. I'm like, see that? It's just too inflexible for me. It's too. I can't. My mind doesn't work like that.
You say just look at replay and basically start from scratch and call it whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I got the.
Well, we called it here.
Is that it, Michael? Michael, Charles, is that it? Look up, Charles. Charles, look up at the screen. Is that it?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Now zoom in real close. If you can zoom in somehow.
We ain't got all that. Damn, dog.
Okay, I'm just saying.
What's about zoom in?
What we gonna do this shit? We doing this on the
trying to keep the lights on. We got an iPhone here. Trying to keep the lights on, but this is brother from another. What you think this is, man? It's a black show, man. We ain't got them kind of resources.
What is wrong with you, man?
We ain't got them kind of resources. What you talking about?
Zoom in and reverse it. Other side of the field.
Listen, I'm just telling you.
But that does
look in from that angle. It does not look like the boundary line is affected. It does.
Ooh, man. Oh, all right. Okay.
Look at me. Look what I'm bringing to the show. You get all mad about photos, but look, I'm like, here is the picture.
All right, look. Moving on to another collapse, because I think all of us have been watching the NFL for a long time, covering the NFL for a long time. The NFL's been around for a long time. We've never seen somebody blow a 33-0 halftime lead. It's still unbelievable days later that happened. But you can kind of see it happening, though, as it was transpiring. Like, there was just so much time. Like, if you don't mind, I'll introduce Charles Michael. So we're in the fantasy playoffs, both of us. Charles texted me, like, early in the game, I'm going to lose to the worst team in the playoffs. I didn't even bother responding because it was so early in the game. I'm like, you're going to get your numbers. Yeah, you're going to get your numbers one way or the other. But as the second half was going on, I'm like, it shouldn't have happened. Jeff Saturday should have definitely kicked the field goal when he had the opportunity instead of going for it on 4th and 1, as a for instance. But there was just so much time. And once it got to, like, I think it was 33-14, I'm like, okay, this is a game now. You know, like, once they got a couple of scores on the board, you can tell what was about to happen, but that it happened is still unbelievable.
It was funny because I still haven't seen the greatest comeback because I left at halftime. I was like, this is just disgusting. And I went to the grocery store. And the whole time at the grocery store, I'm watching on my phone. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like talking to like strangers. There's like a lady like looking at her eggs in the grocery store. And I'm like, they just scored another touchdown. And this lady's like, what the hell is this dude talking about? Like, I was freaking out. I couldn't believe it. And just like you said, once they started to stack up some points, I thought, okay, they do this. I mean, this is their MO. They come back. This is it. I mean, they've never come back from this, but they've come back from some other deficits that looked hopeless. And I still think it's a bad defense. It's like an opportunistic bad defense. It's a good playoff. If you could combine Minnesota and the Jets, you would have the perfect playoff team. Playoff offense, playoff defense. Unfortunately, they have playoff offense. They don't have a playoff defense. And they did give up 33 points in the first half to the Colts, who lost Jonathan Taylor. I mean, come on.
If any fan base deserved this, it's the Vikings fan base. The Colts, they deserve. We talk about this all the time. I think you referenced it, Charles. I've heard it. We've all heard it. More games are lost than won in the NFL. The Colts deserved this outcome. They deserved it. Matt Ryan does not deserve to be associated with the biggest Super Bowl and regular season collapse in NFL history. And the last deserve, the old saying is deserve's got nothing to do with it, whether it's Unforgiven or The Wire. Jeff Saturday did not deserve the job before he got it. And at this point, it's pretty clear he doesn't deserve to keep the job because, again, you got a kicker that's made 5 field goals. You're indoors.
Yeah. Right.
You got an opportunity to go up 11, kick the freaking field goal as opposed to going for it, which exactly what could have happened. You get stuffed, and the rest is history. Literally, the rest is history.
And I would say, isn't a 50? It was a 54-yarder, right? 54-yarder in a dome. Oh, was it shorter than that? All right. I'd say today, what's your average in a dome? If you got a good kicker should make what? A 50-yarder? Like it's
no
advanced.
Conditions.
Like if you, no conditions. Yeah, no conditions.
I mean, your distance in a dome. Yeah,
50-yarder. A 50-yarder is kind of a cliche now. Like if you go back and you look at like Jan Stenerud, who's in the Hall of Fame, you look at some of these kickers from the 70s. and 80s, early 80s, their percentages are not great. They're kicking on grass fields. The fields and maintenance wasn't always great. But today, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you when you are in an airless dome? But there are a lot of things. Mike, you said it earlier beautifully. You said there are a lot of football is a series of situations. Early in that game, they were up by 33 or up by 20-something at that point. One of the linebackers went over and just got an unsportsmanlike penalty just for making a tackle. So you gave him 50. Just stupid stuff. Just stupid.
There was one other Saturday. There was one other Saturday thing. Charles, we're going to take a break and then come back. Saturday, there was a play at the end where they got off the field on third down, okay, near the end of the game, regulation. Got off the field on third down. There was an offensive holding. Instead of declining it, where there's no way they would have let Greg Joseph kick a 58-yard field goal, Saturday accepts the penalty. Fortunately, Hawkinson got back to the same spot. But in the league where holding, illegal contact, all sorts of roughing the passer, he was fortunate that they didn't lose the game on that situation when it was obvious that he should have declined the penalty. Dude is not ready to be a head coach. We saw it play out on Saturday. We're going to talk about some teams we did not see being relevant this time of year when we come back.
By the way, Bailey Zappi would have made that tackle.
Oh, yeah, right?
Oh, he would have been holding on his leg all the way down the field.
As talking about the way the season has gone, does it in any way make you feel like this is a team of destiny at all?
I don't even know what that means. Tough question.
That may be the.
I think it's no. I mean,
I know. Maybe win the division.
No, I got you. I think that it just shows. It just shows what this game is about. You know, you're never out of it, and you know, obviously we've been saying this for a while. We put ourselves in a hole with that little rough stretch we were on, but you're never out of it. And I think that's the cool thing about this game is you get to see, you know, see yourselves fight through adversity, be resilient. And we're a lot better for it. Even today, just the way we won that game. When you win games like this, like we did at Baltimore too, and the Raiders, all those things, when you win games like this, it just builds so much trust in your group. And when this comes up again, because it's going to happen again, we're going to be down 7 or 14 again, and you know, there's no panic because we've been there. Literally, that's what we say on the sideline is, hey, we've been here before. That's what we said today. And so to answer your question, I don't know. I mean, we gotta finish this year, and we got 3 games left to give ourselves a shot. And you know, we're really only focusing on the Jets now, and that's what you have to do, one game at a time, and see where we're at. But we're stacking up pretty nicely here at the end, so we gotta keep going.
So, in terms of, if you go back and look at the draft, the teams picking first and second, I don't know that we thought we'd be talking about them come December. That will be Jacksonville and Detroit.
Right.
And when I was looking at the Thursday night football schedule, I threw up in my mouth when I saw the second to last game was Jaguars-Jets. And yet it's awfully interesting. But before we get back to Detroit, Charles, your hometown team, the team of your youth, for both of you guys, was the Jaguars win, was that more about the Jaguars coming of age or the Cowboys cowboying and showing us who they really might be, Michael?
Man, look, stop it.
Here we go.
You laughed at place. Don't ask that question. You know that question. That is such a.
More about?
That is
more about?
Oh yeah.
That is a round the horn question. That isn't a round the horn question. But I think it's fit. But I think it's fitting. I think it's fitting. I honestly think it's fitting because on one hand it's like, listen, Trevor Lawrence looked like he's growing up right before our very eyes. Okay, Jacksonville they've always had the talent, but they've never been able to put it together. And so here they are pulling out this win. The default is oftentimes to look at the Cowboys for what Dallas didn't do. Oh, here goes Dallas choking again. This is why you can't believe in the Cowboys. But I mean, I don't want to take anything away from the Jaguars either.
I don't want to take anything. It was all Jaguars. I think it was all Jaguars because the Cowboys had them down, and it looked like the Cowboys were going to run away with the game. And the Jaguars just don't stop playing. They don't stop playing. So And this is a team.
As Baltimore, as Tennessee.
You know what, Charles? I don't think they were capable of winning this game 2 months ago. Remember, they went to Philly, and Trevor Lawrence just had all sorts of problems just holding on to the football. I think he had like 3 or 4 fumbles in that game.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Detroit. I mean, the Detroit game, he gets
Detroit beat the brakes off him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but I just think, they're just better positioned now. I think they're bought in. And Charles, I told Michael Smith this story before. I'll tell you, and as I hand the ball to you, when we saw Doug Peterson, we were out in Lake Tahoe.
He is the coach of Brother.
Not last year. Yeah, that's right. Not last year. The year before last. We're out in Lake Tahoe, and he had been fired from Philadelphia, and he's making the rounds. Couldn't have been nicer. Man, we saw him like 3-4 times, and we saw him at a restaurant. He came over to our table. I think he may have even bought us drinks. I mean, he was really great, and he told us, "Hey, I'm looking for another opportunity." And I was thinking in the back of my mind, nah, it ain't gonna happen for him. He's gonna have to sit out for like 2 or 3 years before he gets a chance. And he's the perfect guy for what they're trying to do there, not only as a culture, but specifically with Trevor Lawrence. So this is all about Jacksonville, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, not a lot of people know about Doug. He'll coach quarterbacks hard. Like, that was part of the problem in Philly with him and Carson. He wanted to coach Carson hard, and Carson was stubborn. And when the end came, basically he went into ownership's office and was told, you're going to have to make some coaching staff changes. And Doug was like, no, I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it. And he didn't care that they didn't like that he was fighting with Carson. And it was a multitude of things that led him out of Philly, but he was still highly regarded. He was still highly regarded by people in that building, people in personnel, people in, the business side. You didn't hear like a ton of bad stuff about him. I figured he'd get another opportunity, but I think the thing with Lawrence that's interesting is it's really been 6 or 7 games he's played well. The Detroit game was bad, but he's been kind of on a heater for a while here. And I think what you see the change is, I think we talked about this on the phone before, or on the show before. I had a chance last year to talk to a pro personnel guy who was breaking down film of Lawrence going into a game. And he was like, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's completely lost his confidence in the red zone. He's doing things in the red zone he never did any other time of his career. He's like, go through all the Clemson tape, everything. He's hesitating. He never was a hesitation guy. Now you go back to these games, the 6-7 games, and that game specifically against Dallas, 0 hesitation. I mean, he is gunning it. He's showing every bit of what got him drafted #1 overall. I think it's real, but I also think a lot of it has to do with confidence. We'll talk about Detroit, right? What confidence can do for a team. It does the same for a quarterback, I think.
Before we get to Detroit, though, just on the Dallas front, Michael, you're right. You called me. You got me. I did the around the horn.
Man, he got right. He got right. He got right in your kitchen.
Because we laugh about that question. The more about it's an easy. But I think my thing with Dallas is I don't want to do the thing where I say, oh, see, that's why you can't trust the Cowboys. Because remember, Michael, and I also may be overcorrecting for writing them off. I've been flogging myself all year for writing them off after week 1. So maybe I'm hesitant to do it again because even the last 2 games, take Houston, for example. We all thought they would run roughshod over Houston after what they did against Indianapolis. Oh, but here comes Houston giving Kansas City problems. Your Chiefs had problems with the Texans. Lovey got that team playing hard. So it's like, okay, it's the NFL. Maybe Jacksonville is good enough. Maybe Trevor Lawrence is coming of age. Maybe Jacksonville is just good enough to have made Dallas look silly. I don't want to say that Dallas is destined to crumble and to choke come playoff time because of what they did against an upstart Jaguars team. I think Dallas is still legit, no matter how many jokes people want to get off today at their expense, Charles.
There is some inconsistency. I mean, just look at the season and the run game. Okay, there's still some inconsistency. That was the thing last year. They were very boom or bust last year, and it was all based on turnovers. This year, it evened out a lot more because they were very much a pressure team up front, had issues stopping the run, but they could still turn you over, and they could pressure the quarterback. But, am I worried about them? I'm not worried about them. I mean, it's things like this happen, especially down the stretch. You start to see things that you don't necessarily expect. But you can't be boomer bust in the playoffs. That's where you got to be at your most consistent. No. I don't know what this Leighton Vander Esch injury ultimately means. He's going to come back, but that affects the run game. I'm a little nervous about the consistency of Dallas, but the opponent to me was a good opponent. It wasn't like Houston.
Right.
I don't care what anybody says after I saw Kansas City, and I just think they're not as focused going into that Houston game. There's just no way. I mean, look, all due respect to Lovey, but the defenses out there did not perform. I mean, particularly Kansas City. I'm just like, what are you doing? What's going on? Like, you can't. It did not feel like a focused team.
Right. Okay. We're gonna talk about Detroit before we go, because we got to give the D more love, dude. Like, we talked about Coach of the Year, Michael. I was talking about Daboll. You were talking about Shanahan. Dan Campbell. We'll hear from him in a second, but Dan freaking Campbell. Because when you're 1-6, it is easy for that thing, as they say. I'm sure you've heard it a lot, Charles, to go the other way. We'll talk about him in a second when we come back. That was real TV breakish. When we come back.
That was. I like that. When we come back after this.
When we come back.
After these.
People watching us on YouTube,
messages.
man. Ain't nobody worried about no break right now. Cowboys fans gonna hate me, but Charles, are the Lions now America's team? Who's not pulling the Lions to make playoffs?
Yo, I'm telling you, if you look at the 1-6 start for the Lions, real quick, lost to Philadelphia 38-35. They're a lot better than we realized. They lost to the Minnesota Vikings 28-24. These games were all in it all the way to the end, by the way. They lost to Seattle. Yeah. We thought that was a joke, right? Oh, no, Seattle actually pretty good team, 48-45. They had a bad run with New England and Dallas, but then Miami, they lost to Miami 31-27. 17 games on their schedule. 12 teams are either in the playoffs or in contention for the playoffs. That 1-6 start, it looks like the toughest schedule in the league.
We just talked about Jacksonville. Maybe Detroit's just that good to make Jacksonville look as bad as they did a couple of weeks ago.
Maybe.
Go ahead, Mike.
I don't know who to root for in this Panthers Lions game coming up. I like both of them. I don't know.
I need the Lions
Who you
to
got
win
there?
out. I need the Lions in the playoffs.
Just give
Lions
it to Detroit,
in.
man. Give it to Detroit. So long suffering.
It's so hot in the D right now.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.